Hi, my name is Deborah, and I am your spiritual counselor. There's a lot of talk on the internet about soul traps. And in my research that I've done on soul traps, I found that that may not be the correct term for what is happening. And so, what is happening, why people are thinking that they're entering into a soul trap, is because when they transition, or if they're experiencing these reports are coming back from near death experience people, it may not be they may not be putting the correct term or understanding to what exactly is happening when they find themselves in the middle of a soul trap. What's actually happening is that their frequency, when they transition, when they go through the near death experience, and they find themselves, staring down at this light. Well, the first thing about that is that that light is only there and presenting itself because you are focusing on it. When you transition, whatever you focus on, it's coming like instantly to you. So they're focusing on the light, and then they're met by these beings who are loving and kind and wonderful. And these beings are telling them that they have to come back onto the earth, and enter through the birth canal to go to another life, that things were left undone, or that there's karma, or there's something that they didn't learn, or something that they didn't do. And so people are calling this a soul trap because souls are continually incarnating and incarnating and incarnating back to the earth, and they're not leaving because they're trapped, is what they're saying. But the trap is not the beings that you're encountering. They're taking advantage of your position, but the trap is your own frequency. It's your own frequency. And you can start right now raising your frequency, elevating your frequency, taking the steps that are necessary for you, that when you transition from this life, and every one of us is going to transition, so that when you transition from this life, that you transition in a higher frequency. You transition in a higher state of mind. Transition into a loving place. And if you find yourself transitioned and you're shocked, or you immediately become afraid, you absolutely need to stop in your tracks and start meditating. Get that frequency up, because where you go when you transition, it is determined by your frequency, your beliefs, okay, and your DNA. Your frequency, your beliefs, and your DNA. And your DNA has a mathematical equation attached to it. And so all of these things come together to decide where you're going to go. If you find yourself incarnated back on earth, which a lot of beings are, and of course you're going to forget, like the babies, a lot of them are remembering, these past lives, because they're coming right back from the light, telling them that it's not good enough. They haven't been good enough. And so if you want to get out, like completely get out of this system, then you're absolutely going to have to get that frequency up. You're going to have to raise your frequency. You're going to have to do things to get yourself in a better state of mind, a better state of being, better than that. And so these are things that we can help you with here at Grace Forgives All. I I have a process that I can walk you through and help you to raise your frequency, help you to come to terms with why you're on the planet, help you to understand what actually is going on in your life. If you're having spiritual activity around you, we can help you to get through all of these things so that when you do transition from life, and we all are going to transition from this life, that you transition into a place that is amazing, that you transition into a place that you don't want to. Well, I think everybody is saying they pretty much don't want to come back, but you transition into a place where you are met and greeted by truth, and not lies, if that's the case. And so that's if you are, because I don't believe that everybody is having this experience of encountering these beings who are turning them around at the get-go. But if this happens to you, these are things that you can do to keep yourself in a good place. Number one, begin with meditation. Learn to meditate. Meditation is going to elevate your frequency on automatic. Meditation is going to increase your awareness of yourself and everybody and everything around you. Meditation is the best place to start towards elevating your frequency. The other thing that you can do is become mindful, do some breath work. Even hypnosis may be a good help for elevating your frequency, only because hypnosis is going to bring you into a certain truth. Like hypnosis is going to make it all come clear to you. So one of the things that I noticed that is very similar to a soul trap is a mind trap. And these are the things that really are not discussed. The mind trap is very similar to a soul trap. The soul trap, really, let me just explain why when you see people on the internet talking about their soul is trapped, a soul trap is generally a condition, right, that prevents a person from fully expressing, remembering, or embodying their deepest essence, their deepest purpose, or their spiritual nature. Soul is only trapped because the soul doesn't remember. The remembrance is going to come with meditation. You're basically going to remember who you are. You're going to remember who you are in truth, not who you are in the reality, the life that you're living, the name that you have, this character that you're playing. The meditation is going to show you that there's actually more to you than maybe what you're experiencing right now. And so with the soul trap, the only reason why the soul would be trapped, because technically a soul can never be trapped. A soul is a very powerful being. And the only way you can trap a soul is that the soul agrees to be trapped. The soul has, kind of committed itself to being trapped. And, then we get into the belief. So be careful, the things that you're processing and calling your truth, your belief. if that's what you believe, then you're going to create it. We are very spiritual, highly gifted beings here. And most of us don't realize that we are creating in our lives through our thoughts. We're creating through our words. We're creating, and these things are also, when I say creating, you're attracting, okay? We attract through our thoughts. We attract through our words because we're creating these things to come into our lives. And so what you believe is extremely important, because what you believe, you're creating. And so if you're believing something and you're vibrating in a state of sad, in a state of angry, in a state of hatred, in a state of lust, any of those lower vibrational frequencies, then you're creating in low vibrational space. You're creating, you're drawing, you're pulling from low vibrational thoughts. And so whatever it is that you're experiencing or whatever it is that you're creating is low vibrational, if that's where you created it from. And so that's why it's important to take time in this life. And I get it. Everybody has to make money and everything is about money and it's all, rush, rush, push, push. But take some time to get your frequency up, because you're going to spend more time in the so-called afterlife than you will in this life. And so this life is temporary. So you want to get your frequency up so that your creations and your attractions and your experiences will be up as well. So let's talk about the mind trap. The mind trap now, that's psychological. So the mind trap, those are cognitive distortions, limited beliefs. Limited belief is a mind trap, right? Mentally. So actually this is, the mind trap connects to your beliefs, and your beliefs contribute to what the soul is going to experience. And so those limiting beliefs, mental biases, I cannot stress this enough. There is no greater foolishness than to be walking around this planet thinking that you're better than somebody because of the color of your skin, the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, whatever it is that is pushing that. That is a mind trap. Okay? Identify that. You're going to have to release your hatreds. You're going to have to release your biases. Okay? Because those things do not leave the third density. That's the problem. That's why you're thinking it's a trap, because you want to take garbage from the third density and put it up into the higher spaces and carry all this foolishness that's going on here into the high place, and it can't go. It can't go. That's why you're feeling trapped. You're feeling trapped because what you want to take into those higher realms does not exist in those spaces. And so what's got to happen, you've got to get yourself together. You've got to get your frequency up. Okay? Take the steps to do that. Ask some questions. Take a class. Figure it out. It's worth it. It's worth it. You're not going to regret raising your frequency. You will never regret raising your frequency. The signs that let you know that you are in a mind trap is that right there. Okay. If you're walking around here feeling like you're better, or they taught you that, you know what I'm saying? Like they taught you to only listen to them, right? That they're the only ones that will, that's why you think this is a soul trap. because your thought processes in this life are off track. And the ones that you think are telling you the truth, that are lovingly on your side, they're not. If you are a human being and you have a soul, they're not on your side. They want you to come back because they are feeding on your fear. They are feeding on your hatred. They are feeding on your lust. They are feeding on all of the low vibrational elements and characteristics and attributes that you are demonstrating. And I mean, it's up to you if you want to continue in your way. If you truly believe and you're standing 10 toes down in this whole skin thing. My skin makes a difference. How foolish is that? How foolish is that? That is super foolish. Okay, resonate higher thinking, resonate truth, and then stay in that. No matter what they tell you, stay with what is true. You're no better than anybody. Hatred does not leave this realm. Bias, it does not leave this realm. This is why you feel trapped. You feel trapped because you don't want to change how you are. And you're going to have to. You're not getting out of the third density until you get your frequency high enough to go into the fifth and the sixth densities. And I got news for you. The earth itself is raising its own frequency. The fundamental Schumann resonance frequency is approximately 7.83 hertz on a normal basis, with the higher harmonics at 14.3, 20.8, 27.3, and 33.8. And that's pretty elevated. But for years, the Earth's frequency held steady at 7.83 hertz. Today, it has gone as high as 33.8 hertz. It is raising its own frequency. Okay? I mean, it's really just choices, right? You're basically just choosing to be trapped. I mean, that's it. If you're not taking steps right now to elevate your frequency, you are absolutely choosing to be trapped. And so drop the fear, because fear doesn't leave here either. Fear stays in this third density. There is no fear past the third density. So if you're walking around here biting your fingernails, afraid, somebody's going to take something from you. You know, somebody's going to get ahead of you. Somebody's going to make more money than you. Somebody's going to be better than you in your own mind. These are mind traps. It's a mind trap. And so we don't want to deal with any traps. So this is what I'm going to suggest that you do. Now, I've already said meditation is a great place to start. If you want to learn how to meditate, go ahead and go to my website. That is graceforgivesall.net. And I have a subscription page there for $9.99 a month. You can have access to so many spiritual gems. So there are guided meditations there. There are hypnosis, light hypnosis on there. As a subscriber, you have access to lectures and group communications. You can schedule a consultation. The consultation is actually free. Again, I will link the website in the description. That is graceforgivesall.net. And begin with meditation. Begin with a counseling session. I have a frequency quiz there. I will also put a link to the quiz in the description. And this frequency quiz is designed to accurately determine what your frequency is. And then from there, if you answer those questions honestly, it will give you a good read on your frequency. And then from there, you can either book a session, we can do a hypnosis session, or we can do a counseling session. You can just bypass all of that, do the $9.99 subscription, and when you do that, then you basically have access to pretty much everything that you need. And the libraries are being updated weekly. So there will always be something new for you to use towards your spiritual elevation. See you there. And again, my name is Deborah, and I am your spiritual counselor and your spiritual coach. If you like the content, go ahead and take a moment to subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment if this information has helped you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
I love you.